Big Meech's comeback concert was supposed to be legendary. The man behind the Black Mafia Family name had spent years behind bars, watching hip-hop evolve in his absence. Upon his release, he wasted no time trying to reassert his influence. Rumors swirled about a massive event featuring top-tier rappers, flashy stage shows, and a high-profile reunion that would signal Meech's grand re-entry into the public eye. But while he aimed for a triumphant spectacle, the plan unraveled with shocking speed. One moment, fans were purchasing tickets and bracing for star-studded performances. The next, they were scrambling for refunds. The official explanation used two little words, unforeseen circumstances, to justify a last-minute cancellation. But the story stretches beyond that simple phrase. Factors like feuds with 50 Cent, questionable alliances, uncooperative artists, and possible financial strains all combined to form a perfect storm that derailed the concert. Even Meech's relationship with his son, Lil Meech, came under scrutiny, raising questions about loyalty and money management. What really brought everything crashing down? Let's take a look at the bigger picture. Big Meech didn't want to tiptoe back into the spotlight. He wanted to crash through the door with an arena show jam-packed with the biggest names in hip-hop. Insiders whispered about appearances from Lil Baby, 21 Savage, Kodak Black, and Moneybagg Yo. While none of these artists made public confirmations, early flyers listed them prominently. In Meech's mind, his legendary status would be enough to draw in both performers and fans, even if he was organizing on short notice. People on social media reacted in two distinct ways. Some celebrated the announcement, impressed that Meech still had enough pull to promise a star-studded lineup so soon after regaining his freedom. Others were skeptical. They questioned whether major artists would sign on without substantial lead time. Booking a venue, handling logistics, and launching a huge marketing campaign often take months. Meech's team appeared to be doing it all in mere weeks. Despite the skepticism, Meech stayed confident, dropping teasers and giving fans just enough to keep them curious. A few lesser-known acts popped up on social media, confirming they'd be there. But where were the household names? People began to wonder if all these headliners had really committed. Still, Meech pressed forward, betting that momentum alone would make the show a success. Nothing about the modern Black Mafia Family story is complete without mentioning 50 Cent. After all, 50 was the driving force behind the BMF television series, a hit drama that introduced Big Meech's story to a new generation. When Meech was behind bars, he often expressed gratitude to 50 for breathing fresh life into his legacy. But rumors of tension grew once Meech left prison. Some said Meech wanted more creative input, or a bigger portion of the profits from the show. Others claimed that 50 was wary of giving Meech too much control, since the brand was already thriving under his guidance. Meech's concert project then felt like more than just an event. It was a statement. I'm back, and I'm in charge. Publicly, 50 Cent didn't say much about it at first, but 50 has a flair for taunting perceived rivals, and many fans believed he was watching this concert plan closely, waiting for a slip-up. The moment unforeseen circumstances shut the show down, 50 hopped online to crack jokes, posting remarks that portrayed the cancellation as inevitable. He insisted he had nothing to do with the fiasco, but the gleeful tone suggested he was enjoying the fallout. It's no secret that 50 stands on a higher rung of the industry ladder these days. With multiple hit shows under his belt, he's become a mogul who calls shots that can make or break new ventures. If Meech wanted to compete on that level, he needed a near-perfect execution, something that's tough to pull off when major stars aren't on board. In a twist fit for a headline, Rick Ross took center stage in promoting Meech's event. Known for his own feud with 50 Cent, Ross is never one to miss an opportunity to poke at his longtime nemesis. He posted videos flaunting lavish cars, bragging about pulling up in style, and generally hyping the show's potential greatness. Fans began to see Ross and Meech as unlikely allies united by a common opponent, 50 Cent. Ross's enthusiasm seemed to add credibility to the concert. After all, he's no stranger to hosting big parties and has a reputation for over-the-top extravagance. If he was genuinely on board, it meant Meech had at least one major name behind him. But once rumors circulated about slow ticket sales and non-committal headliners, Ross's support felt more like a solo performance than a deep roster of star power. When the news broke that the concert was canceled, Ross pivoted almost instantly. He announced that fans should follow him elsewhere, somewhere in the 305, implying they could still have a good time under his watch. This abrupt shift raised eyebrows. Was Ross ever fully invested, or was he simply using the hype to throw shade at 50 Cent before moving on to his own agenda? The speed at which he dropped the show suggested his loyalty to Meech might have been skin-deep. Concerts survive on publicity, especially when promising top-tier names. Yet the rumored headliners remained silent. Pages belonging to Lil Baby, 21 Savage, Kodak Black, Sexy Red, and others never once showed an official repost or flyer. Usually, artists confirm upcoming shows to boost their brand and keep fans in the loop. Their lack of acknowledgement spelled trouble. Fans began voicing suspicions on social media. Some pointed out how normal it is for big acts to advertise gigs well in advance, especially if the venue is sizable. Others mentioned the logistical nightmare of scheduling so many top stars with only a few weeks' notice. A handful of industry insiders even reported that no real contracts were finalized. It started to look like Meech was relying on handshakes and word-of-mouth hype in a business that thrives on paperwork and guarantees. The tipping point was the venue size. Observers speculated Meech was trying to fill an arena, a bold move for someone without recent experience or a proven ticket-selling history. When seats didn't move as quickly as expected, local chatter suggested the event might be downgraded to a smaller hall. Still, there was no official announcement, leaving would-be concert-goers guessing if they'd even get to see these famous artists at all. Eventually, the promoters announced the show's abrupt cancellation. The message was short and unsatisfying. Refunds would be issued, and fans should check for updates. Rage and confusion spread online. People who bought tickets were angry over the lack of clarity. Meanwhile, onlookers who had predicted the downfall felt vindicated. Within hours, Rick Ross jumped on social media, declaring he'd reroute his own party plans and told people to meet him elsewhere. 50 Cent posted sly comments and memes, emphasizing that he had zero involvement in the meltdown while letting everyone know he found it amusing. Those who kept quiet about Meech's show continued their silence, presumably moving on to more reliable gigs. It was a swift and embarrassing end to an event that had been pitched as an iconic moment in hip-hop. More than a few watchers drew comparisons between this debacle and other high-profile failures, likening it to stories of overpromise and underdeliver. Except this time, the main figure was an ex-kingpin trying to transform his image. As if the concert situation wasn't tense enough, discussions about Big Meech's son added extra heat. Lil Meech, star of the BMF TV series, has seen his profile skyrocket through acting. He's often spotted wearing expensive jewelry, driving flashy cars, and running in influential circles. Folks started wondering why he wasn't using that spotlight to promote his father's event. Rumors claimed Lil Meech had racked up millions from the show, money that could have financed a serious marketing push. Instead, whispers circulated that he spent lavishly on personal luxuries, leaving his father to scramble for event funding. It's all speculation, but the public took notice. Some criticized Lil Meech for failing to support his dad, while others argued that he owed nothing beyond moral support. Meanwhile, Meech's own statements about the BMF series seemed inconsistent. At one point, he praised 50 Cent for giving his family a new avenue for legitimacy. Yet once the concert hype began, he hinted at wanting more creative control. That put Lil Meech in a tough spot. His loyalty is torn between a father who wants to reclaim a legacy and the man who gave him a breakout acting career. If Lil Meech openly sided with his father, it might jeopardize future roles. If he stayed neutral, he risked looking indifferent to his dad's struggles. With the show canceled and reputations bruised, the big question is, what's next for Big Meech? While some call the entire fiasco a minor setback, others see it as a glaring reminder that commanding an empire in the shadows doesn't translate to commanding a star-studded event in today's entertainment world. The concert meltdown exposed real challenges that Meech will face if he wants to remain relevant. Fans and insiders alike have pointed out that you can't rely on street cred alone to succeed in a business that demands planning, professionalism, and genuine star power. For 50 Cent, this whole episode likely served as confirmation of his predictions. He's been known to side-eye Meech's ambitions to reclaim control over the BMF narrative, and the failed concert only bolstered 50's stance that he's the primary force behind the story's current popularity. As for Rick Ross, he'll probably keep using this incident to paint 50 Cent as a villain and Meech as a comrade in the war against a common foe, even though he distanced himself so quickly once things went south. The tension between Meech and Lil Meech isn't likely to vanish soon. If anything, the public now has more reasons to speculate about family dynamics. Can Meech pull off another comeback attempt? Or will he need a brand new strategy, possibly one that involves a slower build-up and more reliable partnerships? Critics say he should start with smaller shows or private engagements before jumping to arena-level events. Supporters hope he'll regroup, learn from the mistakes, and return with a smarter game plan. Big Meech's failed concert underscores a hard truth. No matter how famous or notorious you are, you still have to do the groundwork to make big events happen. You need confirmed contracts, real publicity, and a cohesive team ensuring that audiences feel confident about what they're buying into. Without those essentials, even the most talked-about figure can face last-minute cancellations that turn into public embarrassment. Yet Meech's story is far from finished. In hip-hop and pop culture, epic comebacks happen all the time, fueled by the public's fascination with second chances. If he can find the right alliances and set aside any pride that undermines professionalism, he just might orchestrate a more successful encore. For now, though, this attempt has concluded with a whimper rather than a bang. It's a lesson that hype can only carry you so far. At some point, the details have to line up, the artist must fully commit, and the planning has to match the ambition. As the dust settles, onlookers remain intrigued. Will Meech emerge with a revised approach to concert promotion? Or will he focus on regaining some creative input in the BMF series? Will 50 Cent continue poking fun at him, or eventually extend an olive branch for the sake of larger profits? And what role will Lil Meech play as he navigates loyalty and career growth? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. The legend of Big Meech hasn't lost its power to spark conversation. Whether it leads to genuine triumph or more public missteps depends on how he handles the aftermath of this very public failure.